I started the live stream. You can talk to me. Look, I just working with you. So let's of fun. Maybe I'll tag along. We didn't want to mess you up. Pretend I'm not here. Yeah, this guy can talk all day and everything looks good. He's going to do some interviews. So I should do it here. Yeah.
Here's the bus. All right, let's get stuff in.
Maybe, all right, nice here. Get your butt here? Okay.
How many are Jill, my wife?
There's, folks here, who's standing here is joining Fred and
You're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking for any so I can get it.
Really is anyone going to come? Let's bring this stuff.
Okay.
Raise your hand so I can get a number. Okay. About one.
I'm ready.
Okay, great. We'll show you what we'll be doing in a minute once we figure out
There's more.
what we have. You can take a look at the white clothes and find an outfit for your vehicle.
Oh well.
Provoked in order to continue to expand and NATO and surround Russia. And the United States is also rattling sabers in an effort to then focus its fury on China and escalate this war. We're here, Vermonters, to say stop, not one penny for war, not one more penny for killing. And we need to feed human needs here at home, and we need the United States government to stop talking about nuclear war. This is very irresponsible to be provoking confrontation with two nuclear-powered countries, and we want the United States to stop.
I'm sorry. I totally forgot to do something.
Oh, you need me to start over again?
We need to start over again.
Okay,
Totally
that's okay.
distracted by all this traffic here, so sorry about that.
Are you
Now
able to hear me well enough?
Yes, exactly. The sound is actually good.
Okay.
But I forgot to make an adjustment on it.
Okay. All right.
So
I'll do
now
it
you had a
again.
great practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so take as much time as you want.
Okay.
Okay, actually, let me reset this.
You let me know when you're ready.
Back to 0. Back to 0. Now you can go.
Hi, my name is Jill Clark Golub, and I'm with the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, the Vermont chapter, and also with the Vermont Peace and Anti-War Coalition that organized today's march. We have been trying to get through to our Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who has a reputation for being progressive, and to ask him why he keeps voting to send more and more weapons to Ukraine with our needed money. Over $110 billion he is authorized already to go to this war, to throw fuel on the fire of war, and just kill more people. Over 500,000 people are dead already. The country of Ukraine is being destroyed, while the Ukrainian people are being sacrificed in a proxy war for NATO expansion. The United States provoked this war, as U.S. authorities are admitting.
Sorry. Something's not right.
Okay, why don't you catch me at another time? I need to check in.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, something technically
The U.S. government says no negotiation.
Feel good about showing you.
So what are you going to do? Thanks for coming today.
We're good for right now, but yeah.
Okay. Rap on the drum. Okay. And somebody on. I guess that's only if they're part of it. Put the backpack on.
Yeah, everyone I'm giving projects.
Okay, so who is joining Brother Public? Are they voluntary for us? I'm just becoming offline. So I'm just what are the rules? You don't think it's good? No, this is part of the performance. No, I'm sorry. I think it's like
Yeah.
the flyers are open.
Yeah, that's on our sides.
Lily. Okay, so it's the two of you so far? Okay. So the thing we're gonna do, we have no weapons.
But it's just the two, okay?
But if we use their hands, we're not gonna have the hands.
We're gonna have the hand and the two weeping women.
So she can be in the fabric or not?
We have enough of us to all be on to have 6 people in the queue.
Okay, and then we do woman?
I think you and me we can still do it, yeah. And who is gonna do bread?
Doris, what are you?
I'm on the hand.
Do you wanna do bread?
I could do bread.
Okay, yeah, you do bread.
Yeah.
I guess you're gonna do the horse.
No, that's always left from your next job.
Put on your little butt like it's
I have the tail.
Like this is the U.S. victim then. And then we start again.
You want a poncho?
Sure, yeah.
Yes. We do have a sign. I don't know where it went though. Do we have which one? Are you guys? The U.S.
They went in the
They're in the
bus.
bus. Do you want me to grab them? Yeah. I think at least the one that says the U.S. government has no negotiation. Otherwise we have to say. The sign, the U.S. says the government has no negotiation. Could it be on the drum? Because we do the victory dance. Or you can just say.
I can just say it.
Maybe Draft can just say. That seems great. Yeah.
Someone outside the circus could go there too.
Sorry. I think. Thank you.
Oh, I think it's inside out.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell with.
Yeah, Raphael just can just say. Okay.
The ponchos are in the whites, and they're for YouTube.
The U.S. government has no negotiation, but victory. And then you say it to you.
Oh, I think we're wearing it. I think we're wearing the ponchos.
We're all wearing ponchos? So we do the whole the same sequence.
The front of the back.
So you know what we will do? We finish the who profits, who dies. We will throw them down, both the novice and the scatter, and then we freeze, and then you say the line.
Signing?
Negotiation, victory.
I say it's good job.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know how I can say that.
And then we pick up the skeleton, and then we do that. Don't worry about it. Nobody sees this.
Yeah. Would it be possible?
It's part of it. The camera, no,
We were
doesn't
just
see it.
talking about how we've done
You didn't see that.
You didn't see it.
We don't need
it.
to use.
We're just walking.
You don't need to use it. You can eat it for
I was
ourselves
like, no,
later.
that's what we're for.
I'll eat it.
Come join us. And they were like, it's not about that negotiation, but they didn't hear it.
Okay.
So if you have a sign with the word negotiation, give it to someone. Just take it.
Okay. You get the sign.
Differentiate this.
Have ready.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
I've had
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
We expect you to negotiate for the other
I
half.
totally hear you.
So, you know, that's not the answer because
Yeah.
the victim
Yes.
is Ukraine
Yeah.
and negotiating.
Yeah. Well, our weapons companies the profits have increased by like 50% in the last year.
These are all- these
That's
are all
not a small
extraneous
fact.
things.
That's an important
The
fact.
only fact is that a democratic, peaceful country
Yeah.
was invaded by
That's
an
not the
aggressive
only fact.
neighbor.
I hear you.
And
You're right about
Ukrainians
that.
are dying,
Right.
and the only way to end this war today is for Russia to leave. That's it.
And
then-
Russia agreed on a peace deal in March last year, and it was scuttled by the West.
It
And
was-
that's a fact,
It
and
was
that's
to
well
give
known.
up parts of Ukraine. Would you give up parts of the U.S.?
Well, we
if
have
that
different
happened?
positions.
Well, maybe you would give up Vermont.
And we have different
if it was
experiences.
invaded.
Look, in theory, we all agree on this.
We all
Is
want,
that
yes.
Russia should not have invaded. No doubt about
And Russia
that.
needs to leave.
Sure.
Ukrainians
But
in
we
peace.
totally agree with that.
Thank you.
So we have common ground. Anyway, I just
I
wanted to thank
appreciate you
you
coming over
for
to
being
talk.
able to talk with us.
Yes.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Duncan.
Duncan.
Yeah. Take care.
From Russia. I'm Ukrainian. I'm born in Germany after World War II, but my family is in Ukraine. And my family today here.
Are you any official affiliation, or you all are just concerned citizens that want to?
No, we stand every Tuesday and Thursday in Montpelier and have been since last February in front of the federal building to share our knowledge, keep support for Ukraine on everyone's radar. So that's what we're doing in Montpelier and have been doing. So this is just a little handful of us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I know you could do that.
Crazy.
So my volunteers.
Wait, Sally. Were there ponchos in the
Yes.
Well, they were for Edeka.
I think me and Aaron are just gonna do white.
Martha?
Yeah, this is what I heard.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, that's
Maybe there's one.
Oh yeah.
if there is one.
Hi Martha.
Lily. Those got the bread now, the bread going inside. But it's ready one.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you
So
guys so
only
much.
for you can have the easy.
More slices will be ready, so you don't have to do the slicing part on the go.
Beautiful. Yeah, because that would be really hard.
It would be really hard.
Yeah.
Make sure you clean the knife.
Yes. And I have them.
I'm on the hand.
Icarus, you, Ziggy.
Yeah. We are with them.
Are you sure you
A couple of them are people
Does
who
your
are
poncho say old man? Old. Who's holding this? Martha was just, she was asking if she could hold something.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Lilith.
Hey, you want to practice
Yes.
that?
Okay.
What the hell?
War. What is war? Who profits? Who dies?
And you keep your hand in this position.
The U.S. government says no negotiation, but victory. I will present to you a typical U.S. victory dance.
Then you pick it up.
I haven't had breakfast.
And then
Once upon a time, many years ago.
Are you Eastern?
Yes, we know Michael. We know Michael.
Yeah, behind you.
Hi. How are you? Good. What is war? What is war? Who profits? Who dies?
I watched the U.S. government says no negotiation, but victory. Now present to you U.S. typical U.S. victory dance. Well, we should get our veterans for peace. No, but I mean, would you at least support our second thoughts? Really? Clapping or something. No. Hey, you know, we should have Ukrainian flags. That's fine. Oh, yeah. It looks very nice.
and then when you throw it.
Here I am, going on the. So you got your microphone on?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So it's time to start talking and stop warring. Too many people have been killed over the last thousands of years. It's time to start talking. That's all.
Zero. Absolutely. Hidden demonstration out there. So, Peter was I know, because we've been marching together.
Maybe Johnny.
The bus is right there.
It looks like this conflict is sort of following a similar pattern. We're seeing support for it wane a little bit. A very recent poll from ABC said no support for the war.
Oh, you want to get it off?
Speak on it. Yeah, how this compares to previous conflicts.
Well, Saddam Hussein was sourdough, and that was very clearly stated. And it was hammered, you know, what do they call it, a talking point. It was everywhere that Saddam Hussein was, you know, going to hit us again. But Saddam Hussein never actually hit us. But we were quickly, because the mainstream media is billions of dollars, and they're able to blanket the news. We call it propaganda, but let's not bother with that now. Saddam Hussein was the enemy. Now Vladimir Putin's the enemy. And so when you have an enemy, you can get people behind you. And you can get people to do things they wouldn't normally do. But like I said, there isn't a draft now. So there really isn't dissent as we had in Vietnam. Iraq, there was not a draft, but there was knowledge that the what do they call it? The reasons for that war. There was knowledge and intelligence that it was being fabricated. Which the idea of using Vladimir Putin as now our enemy is kind of a fabrication, because Putin basically has been on the defensive in terms of NATO. Whenever there's a new missile system placed in Europe pointing towards Russia, they react, and they always have. We were the first ones to put missiles in Turkey when John F. Kennedy was president.
Jupiter missiles in Turkey.
The Jupiter missiles. So Kennedy realized, because he had the real intelligence, that he needed to talk to Khrushchev and make a deal. We know that Biden could make a deal. We know it. There's no doubt about it. They all have to do is pick up the telephone, but they'd rather people die to prove a point, you know, whatever their point is. You know, I don't want to speak for them. I want to speak for peace.
The goal of the march loosely today is to get a meeting with Senator Sanders. You said in the press release that you guys were going to wait on his doorstep until he agrees to at least a Zoom meeting of some kind. He has been unequivocal of his support for Ukraine and his belief that we should be funding them, giving them aid. Although he did voice some of what you just said about NATO and American aggression in an op-ed for The Guardian before the conflict. What do you think? What are your hopes from a meeting with Sanders? How do you feel that he has been acting during this conflict, and how do you hope to change his mind if you can?
In April, we petitioned Sanders. We sent to his office our petition with a lot of Vermonters from 85 towns in Vermont. And I have it with you.
Do you remember how many signatures of that you had?
There was 150 Vermonters, but there was 450 from New England. So it wasn't small. Everyone read the letter that we wrote, and the letter stated basically that we feel like it's reckless what's going on in Europe right now, completely inappropriate, and it's not a way to bring peace or fight a war for that matter. 120,000 Ukrainian soldiers have died, according to, I believe, the New York Times, maybe it's Reuters, and many people have been maimed and permanently injured. And so the idea of arming them is the opposite of what we need to do. So Sanders supports it because the Democrats support it, and Sanders supports Joe Biden. And that's it. That's the crux of that. So we don't think we can change Sanders' mind. But we do want to ask what his sources are, where he's getting information. Does he understand that there's other information that needs to be, for example, who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline? We all know it was not a small crew in Ukraine. They didn't have the capability. So, Seymour Hersh. There's various sources that are very credible. Who's the one? He's in the State Department. He has been for years. Who know the history. And Bill Bradley was a senator in New Jersey, and Bill Bradley was a very upstanding American Democratic senator, and he was very upset when he heard that there was this coup in 2014. And I think before that they were, the neocon elements in Washington have been designing this all along. So that information needs to come out. And I just want to say about Bernie Sanders, so our letter, which was registered, they got the letter, they signed for it, and we followed up, was to call for a meeting so we could discuss why the war, what was the need, what were other sources of information besides mainstream media, and I think we've given up on that. I think that what we're doing now is we're demanding that Bernie Sanders issue a public statement today, because there's also a demonstration in his Washington office, to call for diplomacy today, to pressure, the Biden administration to do that.
A last question for you. How do you feel about the general, you mentioned that protest, is a protest in Washington happening today?
Yes, we'll hopefully get a report on that.
Okay, and
I think it's an arrestable protest. Started Bernie's office.
What are your hopes for the peace movement in general? Obviously, it's sort of been on the back foot since the beginning of this conflict. As I mentioned, we are seeing some changes in the tides in terms of the support for the war. What are your hopes for the future? Are you optimistic that a peace movement will grow as this conflict continues in Vermont and in the country as well?
My hopes is that people will look to other information that isn't just in the mainstream media, because that is pretty much locked down by the donors of politicians, both on the right and the left. They need to listen to independent sources and make up their own mind, and I think that'll win it over for the peace movement. You call it the peace movement. It's really the anti-war movement, because there's so many movements now, justice movements. So we support them too. Migrant justice, Free Her wants to not have women's prisons built in Vermont. We support their struggles. So the struggle for the peace movement is really the struggle that we all want, which is to get government to be accountable to fund the things that people need. Bernie Sanders said that early on in 2015, I think, he said, we need a country that takes care of the most vulnerable. And we're not doing that. So that's half of this. It isn't just about the peace movement. It's about getting information so we can have a better country. Infrastructure, everything. I don't know. It's a big debate we need to have. Healthcare, that's the thing. Why don't we have these? Why $1 trillion to the military, where they've increased their profits 47% in the last 2 years? So why? Why them? You know, why do they have a free backdoor entrance into the White House? We know they do. You know, our State Department chief is a former Raytheon executive, and that's when Biden came into office. He immediately appointed a number of business interests. So we know that the military, industrial complex, the media are basically supported by these big interests. Same is true with fossil fuel companies. It's all the same. So our message isn't really about peace. It's about getting good information and not being censored. But we're not censoring them. You know, they have a point of view. It's valid. And we have a point of view. So it's about us all. There's a lot of shutting down going on, and a lot of smearing. So we just want to open it up.
Great. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Are you ready to get someone who's going to get in my face and yell at me, Chris? Hi. Hi. Oh, hi.
Dave Ross suggested I talk to you.
Yes.
And WFUR just, WCA just confirmed there is a fire truck.
See, I wish I did.
Oh, I see.
I would suggest
give greeting and a brief explanation, and we have I'm sorry, what's your name?
My name is Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
Schuman.
Yeah, I know.
Here was the press.
And you are?
We're about to
get started.
And at the end of Church Street, we'll do a press conference. Okay?
Sure.
Thanks. And who are you with?
I'm with NBC Live.
Hi.
We're not do you have a camera? I have my photographer. Okay. So as we told CCTV, we're going to be going up Church Street. So being up that way from us is how you get good angles.
And so even if we're up front, you are going to lead us because we don't actually know the route.
I will lead you with, and I'm going to be handing out flyers.
Great.
So Jill, should I make an announcement right now?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Can I have your attention? I'm with Vermont Peace Anti-War. I'm with Vermont Peace Anti-War Coalition. So that's a coalition, and there are different groups: Veterans for Peace, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Been around a long time. Started World War I. A lot of us are pacifists, which is a very tough position. Always a tough position. So we're going to march, and we're going to rally, and we're going to say our message, and we're going to hand out leaflets, and we're calling for talks and negotiations, because we know one phone call from Joe Biden ends the killing. One call. Or maybe it'll be on the cell phone, and maybe it'll be a text. But one message will end the killing. You know, and maybe some Ukrainian fighters will keep fighting. That's not something we can control. But we can control whether we continue fueling the war. That's what we can control, because this is our country and our government. So I think we should march, and at every intersection we'll rally as we go up. Apparently there's a fire engine parked on College Street. That's the intelligence that I get. So we'll just go around the fire engine, and we'll keep going. And at the end, at noon, around noon, 12:15, we'll have a press conference. We'll read the famous letter that will be carried by Bread and Puppet Hand. What was the bread and puppet hand used in what show?
This year pageant, all over the summer.
Pageant,
the
this summer?
Yeah.
So the great pageant hand of bread and puppet will carry the letter that we have just asked Bernie Sanders to read. Bernie Sanders is one of the most powerful people in the world. And he can call Joe, because he's his friend, and he can tell Joe, Joe, people want you to end this war. And that's how it happens. It's always happened that way with these wars, because we're the leader in the world, and people look to us to lead. So,
Duncan,
I'm not exactly a, you know, like a...
get to the fire engine. We want to have a little chant about putting out the fire in Ukraine.
All right, well, you're going to initiate that.
We also, Jill. Hi, everybody. I'm Jill with Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. And we also want, if we have any people who do not like what we're doing and have nasty things to say to us, we do not engage. We keep marching. If someone is very, very insistent, we send them to the social worker.
I'm a social worker, yeah. I'll take people aside and we can chat.
We are all committed to nonviolence, and we're going to show that today.
Yeah. Dave. Oh, good. Thank you.
We're going to have a particular chant that we're going to say. We are going to be following the soundtrack that's going to be led by Bread and Puppet, but we will have some opportunity for chants and chants if people would like them. I've got more.
Do you have one of those flyers?
Yeah. No, but what I don't understand, I mean, they're going to say things and then we're going to say it after them. They're going to be performing. Would you like to give us an orientation?
The chest? Yes. We can. I want to teach the chest right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's, fairly easy. Let's do that.
And I think we should repeat 2 times and then the
Yeah, slowly. Repeat it twice. Okay. We're just gonna walk through it. It's fairly easy. You'll catch up on it. 8 for nothing. What is war? What is war? Who profits? Who dies?
And again.
What is war? What is war? Who profits? Who dies? The U.S. government says no negotiation, but victory. We now present to you a typical U.S. victory dance. That's the pattern, and then repeat.
And
so good.
In between, is it okay if we do a little bit of these other chants?
Sure. I mean, we're not gonna change the whole.
Yeah. So we've got chants like, tell me, what's insane? Endless weapons to Ukraine. Tell me, what's insane? Endless weapons to Ukraine. And some other ones. Stop the killing, it's obscene. Stop funding the war machine. Stop the killing, it's obscene. Stop funding the war machine. Blah, blah, blah. So we'll have other ones, but I think this will be a good combination. And we're going to have these ladies are going to be at the head of our march. On all,
Except we don't know where to go, so you'll be in front of us.
Yeah. Did I have another chance? I've got
He's one of the most powerful people.
Just need a loud voice.
And we are. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
This is.
Can we wait until
Okay, we gotta wait. We gotta wait a minute. The public will take a minute.
All right.
Is this Good Chant Church Street?
Yeah, so we're going, it's 4 blocks up Church Street to Bernie's office, but we want to land there at noon. So we might go up and come back a little bit, and we're going to stop at each time we have to cross a street and perform.
Hey.
And hand out flyers.
Ready to go.
Ready?
Do you think we should be behind you or should we be behind the dead in public? Where do you want a lot of people to be? Do you want all red in public?
Yeah, the red in public was together, yes.
So it'd be good for somebody to be in charge.
Yeah, those spaces, let's space it, right?
Yeah.
Well, we can
Keep a
have
little
Raphael
spacing
in front.
between us and you. Yeah. I have no idea. I think it's random. Houses.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, let's go.
Hi.
End the war in Ukraine.
I think we have to slow.
Slow.
With the hand.
That's good.
How do you feel, Ziggy?
Yeah, and I think we can stop soon. Okay.
What is war? What is war?
Who profits? Who dies?
Where's the letter? Says no negotiation, but victory. We now present to you a typical U.S. victory dance.
There was so little program.
Well, first of all, the president didn't go into Russia to invade anything.
Hi, Sylvia. How are you?
Here we are again.
Yeah, up from the Burlington French Street.
Like when that set your jug down. Oh,
So sorry. I roll with the punches. Don't worry. All right.
good for you.
Thank you.
even a new letter with the facts and the history of why we're at war with Russia right now? Is that the letter? Shall we read it?
Yes.
Yes. Shall we read it now, or shall we read it in front of Bernie's office?
Bernie's office.
Now and later. Did you say later? Let's read it at the office. Two more blocks.
Okay. Bernie, Bernie, can you hear it? Can you hear our mighty spirit?
Bernie, Bernie, can you hear it? Can you hear our mighty spirit? Bernie, Bernie, can you hear it? Can you hear our mighty spirit?
All right.
They've got their... Jill?
Money for education, not for war. Money for housing, not for war. Money for parks, not for war.
Money
for children,
not for war.
Well, Burlington's done something.
government says no negotiation, but victory. We now present to you a typical U.S. victory dance.
Where's the letter? Where's the letter from Sanders? 6 months we've been trying to talk to Bernie Sanders. Let's take him the letter and talk today.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Support Ukraine.
Morgan, did I put you in Rochester in August? You're doing well. Yeah, you look really clean.
Okay. So, and what you're going to do in the winter to these power places, like they already did last winter, these poor old, elderly, infirm Ukrainians in villages, some of them froze to death. You know, they don't show that on TV.
I pay attention to an online forum.
Victory! We now present typical U.S. victory dance.
There's the letter for Bernie Sanders. Yes, we are peace envoy Bernie represents us. We'll be back here at 12 noon to deliver our letter to Bernie Sanders about faith.
Let's do it.
Maybe make it.
So you guys go
I
in
think
front
you
of
need
us.
to put music here. Music? Nah.
End the war. Support Ukrainians. End the war. Support Ukrainians. End the war. Support Ukrainians. End the war.
So bread and puppet. You could go to that last intersection and then come back? All the way down? No, just the last one. Yep. Same way.
Stand up for Ukraine. End the war. Save lives. Need another string. Do we follow them?
I guess so.
Where did you get this?
Most of these folks are with the VPAC, I believe. I think most of them. Do you want us to take the sign?
I read it both ways. Church Street at 12 noon. Tell me what's insane? Endless weapons to Ukraine. Tell me what's insane? Endless weapons to Ukraine. Tell me what's insane? Endless weapons to Ukraine.
Peace talks now.
Peace talks now.
Now turn the sign.
We now present to you a typical U.S. victory dance.
Right down by the river. Oh, yeah.
We should probably head back. It's 11:47.
11:40. Okay.
I just published letters today.
Yep, nice. Yep, I've done that. And yep.
We already got one.
You want us to open up for you? Okay.
That's interesting. I did this on the back of that. Look at that. That's what I did when it was that day, the year we...
A lot of the posters we all have in our garages and barns can be reused. For
Right,
sure.
exactly. No, it's amazing. No, I was talking to somebody who actually remembers the Vietnam War protest.
Yeah, I got it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Tell me what's insane. Endless weapons to Ukraine. 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 Support Ukraine. Stop the war. Stop now.
Peace talks now.
On your left.
Yeah, there is some legislation in the UK that I'm aware of that is Russ Brand. He was after during the Cold War, of course, he was yeah, somebody in Parliament. Which, I mean, it's its own remarkable
Who profits? Who present to you a typical U.S. victory dance.
To who? The letter to Bernie Sanders we've been trying to deliver for 6 months. Follow us to his office. We have a 12 noon appointment.
Come learn more. Let's negotiate.
That's reserved for breakfast.
Negotiation, but victory. We now present to you a typical U.S. victory dance. Where's the letter? Letter to Bernie Sanders. Is the letter in the hand?
Yes.
We've spoken about this letter for months.
What does the letter say?
Robin wants to see the letter. Who else wants to see the letter?
I want to see the letter.
This letter we're delivering to Senator Sanders' office at 1 Church Street. We've been here many times in the last 6 months. We sent a registered petition to the Senate, a registered letter.
they received it in the office, we heard nothing. It seems like the more people cry for peace, the more silence they get. But that's always the way. Whenever there's a war, there's this intense silence mixed with lies. The silence is infused with lies. And so we're here to give some more information on how one phone call stops this war. One phone call from Joe Biden stops this war. For the media and anyone interested, I have petition signatures. We have up to 750 now. 2 separate petitions explaining why what's happening in Europe is a reckless act. It's threatening nuclear war. We are closer to nuclear war now than we ever were. Ever. In the time that we've had nuclear weapons. We were the first to place missiles, nuclear missiles, in Turkey in the end of the 1950s. And Russia reacted, and we had an arms race. Well, that's where we are again, because there are many more missiles pointing at Russia. Russia's not fighting just in Ukraine, which is wrong, but they are fighting us, and they're fighting Britain, and they're fighting to really survive. And the people here who support Ukraine, and the poor people of Ukraine who are under the boot of war, we respect them. And of course they're right. So we want to read the letter, and we're going to read it now, and we're going to deliver it to Sanders' office, which is right here. We believe they're on the 2nd floor, but it's like a Franz Kafka novel. You don't know where they are. They're certainly not in Congress. So, where is that the letter? Oh, what a dramatic moment.
Yeah. Whoa, he's got good sharp teeth.
Urgent. Priority mail. Nancy.
Yeah?
Are you ready to read the letter to us?
Sure.
You've got your own copy.
Yeah.
Is that the same one that's in here? I think it is. Come on up to the mic. Yes, that's the one. And you need to eat what we call eat the mic.
Okay.
Eat it.
All right, thanks.
There you go. Don't be afraid of that. Just give it everything.
Dear Senator Sanders, we, your constituents, have used email, phone calls, office visits, and petitions with over 660 signatures to request a meeting with you to discuss pathways to a diplomatic, negotiated end to the war in Ukraine. You have been ignoring us. We are here today waiting for you until we get a response. Negotiations are the only way to stop the senseless suffering and deaths of the Ukrainian people. We are outraged that you have voted to spend over $110 billion of our taxpayer money to throw fuel on the fire of war in a boondoggle for the 1% billionaire class. The owners of climate-killing fossil fuel companies made $134 billion in excess profits last year, thanks to the blockage of Russian gas into Europe, and the weapons manufacturers' profits soared up 37 to 40% thanks to new Pentagon contracts from this war. Congress should instead allocate billions to address the climate, housing, opiate, healthcare, and student debt crisis. We are also alarmed at the reckless expansion of NATO to now include an aggressive stance toward China, the obvious target of the next proxy war. Senator Sanders, why are you supporting the Biden administration's irresponsible march toward nuclear confrontation? The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists says that we are now closer than ever to oblivion. This is the time for diplomacy. The weapons industry, which holds too much sway over our imperfect democracy, wants the war to continue. We citizens demand that it stop, not one more penny for war. For months we have been requesting a face-to-face meeting with you, which we still want. In the meantime, the situation has grown more dire. Therefore, we Vermonters now demand that you issue an immediate public statement calling for ceasefire and negotiated settlement in Ukraine. We are part of a majority of people in the United States and around the world who are against this war, which causes death and food shortages and risks nuclear disaster. Peace begins at home. Let's talk. Vermont Peace Anti-War Coalition, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, Vermont Chapter, and Vermont Chapter 57, Veterans for Peace. Thank you.
Like many of us, we are lifelong Vermonters, or been here for the majority of our lives. So we care about Vermont. And, you know, when I first heard the F-35, that I heard it was here at a public airport, I knew that was wrong. But when I hear it go over, and this morning there were multiple planes going over, and now the F-35 and the F-16 and its other planes are deployed on the borders of Russia. Now, the F-35 is a nuclear-armed, capable system. We have the Department of Energy is funding the nuclear weapons, the new arms race. And so it's not just the Department of Defense. So we live in a war economy, and we need to realize this in order to mobilize and change. So we're Vermonters, and we're not willing to take part in this march to war and risk nuclear war. We're not willing. So we're going to ring Bernie Sanders' buzzer on the office door, and hopefully they will come down and take the letter or invite us in. If they don't, they did what they did recently, which is to have us put it in the foyer. So we're going to ring the buzzer, and we need Bread and Puppet. Do you have a symbol? Just a symbol?
A musical symbol, not a visual symbol.
Yeah, a musical symbol, not a symbolic symbol. Good, good. We're going to press Bernie Sanders' office buzzer.
Hey, what's going on over
And
here?
we just want a little fanfare.
What's going on over here?
Excuse me?
What's going on over here? What are we doing?
Ma'am, we're trying to conduct... A clown just came up here. And said,
What are you doing? What are we doing?
She's got the balloons. Well, listen, if the letter is not received by the office, we can send them up on the balloons.
Oh, you want my help? You want my balloons?
Would you?
Oh, I'd love to donate.
Do you know this woman?
I don't know, but wait a minute, we have to push the button. Wait
Okay. Let's see if we can get in. Because this is a democracy. Thank you, drums. Well, just a note that the rocking chair here, the empty rocking chair, is for Bernie to come talk. So we're going to leave that here for a while. If we do not reach the senator through some means today and have our wishes recognized, which is that he talked to Biden for diplomacy, we will be going to church, what's that street right over there? Cherry. What a lovely name. Cherry Street. And having a demonstration there, maybe in the middle of traffic. So who wants to press the buzzer? Anyone? Who's brave enough? Here we go.
Can you do it facing up?
Yes. There's the buzzer. Do you see the sound? You know this buzzer. You've been there before.
This one?
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to come out. Hello, we're outside
Door's still locked.
and your door is locked and someone's trying to get out and we're hoping to talk with you about our letter.
Are they trying to drop a letter off to us?
We're hoping to actually invite Senator Sanders down here, and we have a chair already for him because we've been asking to speak with him for months now.
Understood. Senator's not available at the moment, but if you are trying to deliver a letter that's an invite to the senator, our state director would be able to come down and accept that once they have a moment, and I can flag that for them.
Okay, you could flag that, thank you.
There's a fellow in your lobby who's trying to get out of the building and he's unable to because it appears to be locked. So do you have any help for him? It looks like he's trying to call someone for help.
I don't happen to know since I'm unable to see who's down there at the moment, but I will flag that you are hoping to drop that letter off for the correct staff member to come down in just a moment.
What? I can't hear you.
All I want to add is just that I myself have been trying to talk to Bernie about the F-35 issue since 2019, and he refuses to speak to us about any of these military issues. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts about why that might be.
I'm not certain myself, and this is about to time out just for your awareness, but I can pass your concerns along to Senator Sanders, and our staff member will be down to collect that letter momentarily.
Good. We'll be here. If it could be soon, it's very hot. So we would appreciate that, and it won't take much of your time. We know actually that the senator is in Washington, D.C., and at this moment, Medea Benjamin and others from Code Pink are outside of the senator's office with the same requests for negotiations and an end to the war, and an end to all these wars. So yeah, we'd love to talk, but really we want to deliver the letter and continue to try to help get some sympathy, okay?
I think we might have timed out.
We timed out.
You can press the button again.
So they can get out, they just have to push the door, it's not hard.
Yeah, they can get
out. They still want to get out. I see. In the way. Okay. Scary.
Good afternoon, Senator Sanders' office.
Hi, we're the protesters outside again, and I wanted to add a few things about the concerns I've shared with Bernie Sanders. One of them is about the high levels of PFAS discharged by military operations all over Vermont, and in particular at the Vermont Air Guard base right here at the Burlington airport. That has created toxic soil and water, and that's discharged into our lake and into the Winooski River. And it's damaging to children. It causes neurological problems along with cancer and fertility issues. And he received a letter from Dr. Peter Bingham at the UVM Medical Center, who is the state's premier child neurologist, about the concerns about the F-35 noise toxicity. And again, we haven't seen a response to that. That was also many months, if not years ago, that we've been sharing these concerns. And so we do have our rocking chair out here, and we're very eager to just meet and talk with Bernie Sanders about our concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, and I do want to let you know that staff member is on their way down.
So there's a staff member on the way down to pick up the letter.
As you know, this is a symbolic piece of theater, and it's symbolic because there really doesn't seem to be what we always would learn as children in this country. It's called redress. So we've been seeking an end to this war because many, the New York Times says 500,000 people have died in Ukraine. These are combatants or are injured. That's no small number. So that's one thing. The other thing is the threat of nuclear war. So we're going to deliver our letter, and we have offered a symbolic place for the senator and always been open to the democratic process. Oh, hello.
Hi there.
Well, let's be polite and let's talk. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Do I know you?
I don't know. I'm Katie Van Haste. I'm
Oh,
Bernie's
hi,
state
Katie.
director. Nice to
I'm
meet
dropping
you.
my papers.
That's all right. No problem.
Yep.
Take your time.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to drop the letter too.
It's right at your feet.
Oh, the letter. Thank you. Yes, hi. Do you want to use the microphone?
I don't need to. We can
Okay.
just have a conversation.
Sure.
So did you want to, do you have a,
Yes.
why
Well,
don't you let me know why you're here and,
we sent this 6 months ago by registered mail.
Great.
And it was received at this office 6 months ago.
excellent.
And so I'd like you to acknowledge that we sent this letter with 650 signatures, which are in that envelope.
Thank you for sending it.
Thank you. And we actually met with Bernie's foreign policy advisor,
Yes.
Max Hoffman.
Yep.
And Bernie Sanders' foreign policy advisor told us 2 months after we sent this letter, 2 months it took us to harass them to really get a meeting. His policy advisor says, we said, what are your sources for how you understand this war is being conducted? He said, MSN, AP News, Reuters, and some other mainstream sources. Now, we know that's not true. Okay? So, sorry to use this moment in this way, but we feel that we've been through the process of trying to communicate with a senator who we've known for many years. And there's a lot of silence. So is there any comment you can make about what you know about our intentions? Or
So I can say that we've received your letter. We received the letter that you sent yesterday. We sent a letter back to you. I have copies of that letter that I'm happy to share. I don't know that I have enough for everyone here, but I'm happy to share the response from the senator. I'm very glad that you were able to meet with our foreign policy advisor. Our staff is here to meet with constituents. Our staff is here to meet with constituents when the senator is not available. That is what we are here to do. That's why the senator puts so much of his resources into having staff who can hear from constituents when he is not available.
I'm not sure she wants it. Do you want the microphone?
I'm happy to.
Well, thank you for. Yeah, and we're going to keep it short because,
Thank you.
So, but thanks for taking the letter.
Absolutely.
And the original letter with all the signatures.
Thank you.
Is also in your office. We know it was received 6 months ago. And we continue to seek some dialogue. But we also today are seeking, we have a demand. And that is today, whether from Washington, D.C. or here, we get a statement from the senator that he's going to call Joe Biden and ask for negotiations rather than bombs.
So the senator's statement is included in his letter.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's predictable. Thank you.
Yeah.
And have a lovely day.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I give you the rest of these to pass out to those who want
Sure.
them? Great.
Yep. Don't give them to me. Give them to someone else, and they'll pass it on. Something to say who are calling for negotiations and talks here, and someone have a. I think Henry wanted to talk.
I am not calling for negotiations.
You're not calling for negotiations?
Say if the floor is given.
Okay. Well, we're gonna try and make our message clear today. Thank you. So those who are interested in diplomacy, there's a huge State Department in this country, and come up and say something about talks and how all wars end with talks, every one of them. Henry, do you want to say something?
Something that a lot of people don't know, that I didn't know until about 6 months into the war, even though I follow pretty closely, is that there was peace negotiations in March of 2022, and there was actually a deal reached for peace. And Putin and Zelensky were both ready to sign. And Boris Johnson flew in personally and told Zelensky not to sign because he would get a better deal by fighting. And we see the result. And for me, it feels like the same message, which is bomb before negotiations. And we've heard it so many times, and this war is more complicated, but there was an option, and ultimately there still is an option. And the option of fighting looks less and less effective every day, especially for the Ukrainians. And the option of negotiations looks more and more necessary every day, especially for the Ukrainians, and who are caught in the middle of a superpower conflict, which is decades in the making. And again, every war ends in negotiations. And that's all we're calling for.
Hello, thank you all. My name is Martha Hennessy. I live in Wethersfield, Vermont. I also participate with the New York Catholic Worker, and we have stood against war for decades. And I just want to say briefly that I want to thank Bernie. He has helped us with the elderly, with the vets, with workers' rights. Thank you, Bernie, for your decades of support. Also, the Community Land Trust work that has been done here in Burlington. Very amazing, important work. So thank you. I do think that an armistice or a ceasefire is very reasonable and very possible. This is what was done for Korea. It's not a perfect situation now whatsoever with the militarization of South Korea and the North. And so we do think that any kind of an armistice is helpful. We've got to stand up against war. Right now, Medea Benjamin, many other people are down in D.C. risking their personal safety to stand up and say that this war is not right. All of these wars have been fought for corporate interests, and this is nothing new. What we're dealing with now is, war for profits. And so I just want to thank all of you here who have been willing to stand up and speak both for and against this war. And what's really important is that we all speak together, and Bernie, he needs to be in this circle as well. I have friends who just spent some time in Germany and the Netherlands. The United States has nuclear weapons on the soil of 5 different countries, and this is a violation of international law. And right now, the NATO states are practicing war games, and they're very serious, and they're spending a lot of time, money, and carbon footprint. This is for real. This preparation for this current war is very real and very, very dangerous. And we also are looking at upgrading our nuclear arsenal under President Obama at $36 billion. We are having crying needs here at home with regard to healthcare, education, schools, housing. It's a real crisis for the working class right now, as Bernie has been so good to support. Also, war feeds into climate collapse. So the largest carbon footprint right now is the U.S. military. And we have maintained hundreds of bases around the world, and we are bringing in the next phase of weapons. We left Afghanistan after 20 years. I had 3 trips to Kabul. I saw the effects of war. And now we are in this next war. Who called for this war? Why is it still going? And so I just want to be very clear about how we are all complicit in this. We live with the highest standard of living in human history, and that comes at the cost of a barrel of a gun. And all of these other countries are very much suffering, especially in the South. We can end this war, we can deal with this climate collapse, but we've got to do it now. And the United States has been called the essential nation. Well, let's make ourselves essential in terms of bringing world peace. And thank you all for coming.
like everyone else, of course I am in favor of peace. But I lived in Ukraine from 2017 until 2021. I've gone back there twice this year, in February to March, and then again from May until July. I've been to places near the front line in Kherson and Donbass. And the reality is that under the current circumstances, there can be no negotiations with Russia's government. They are completely unhinged, degenerate maniacs with whom there can never be any negotiations under any circumstances. There can be negotiation eventually, as people here have said. All wars end with negotiations.
No.
But
Excuse me.
No.
I said the guideline.
I am in favor
today,
of peace,
no, sir.
just like
no,
you.
Sir, the guideline.
All right.
The guideline
Okay.
that I said for speaking. The guideline I said for speaking. Let me just say something.
You are
the support.
prolonging the war, you scumbag. Fuck
Okay,
you.
that's your position. That's fine. We're here today. The reason why we came from different parts of Vermont and we've been organizing is to have a different strategy to end the war. Not everyone agrees, certainly. I would say the support for Ukrainians has been high in this country, and rightfully so. But we have a different position, and we have a different history, really, about how these wars end. And we know they don't end with twisting the arm of people and then bombing them. We know that. That's what Russia may be doing, which they should not. But don't shout us down, because we are for peace. And we're here, on our own recognizance as free Americans to speak. And we said, if you want to speak in this microphone, we'd like to hear your ideas about negotiations and diplomacy, which we have heard nothing of. So now's the time. All right. What do you have to say?
Dave Ross, right there.
Oh, have you got to say something? All right. Tell us who you are, Dave.
My name's Dave Ross. I live up in Milton. I'm a graduate of South Burlington High School and the University of Vermont. Yay. So, I wasn't drafted, I enlisted. I wasn't sent to Vietnam, I volunteered. Twice. I had a safe job, combat medic, 1st Infantry Division. I think what a lot of people don't understand is what the hell war really is. I was stationed in Germany for a short period, and I went into parts of Munich and some other cities. They still hadn't cleared out, this is like 64, they still hadn't cleaned up the bombing. It was amazing, just like square miles of buildings in shreds, crumbled to the ground. Vietnam, I saw things no one should see. I saw a dead woman. Her baby was trying to suckle on her. Who's going to come take care of that baby? I saw there's a young medic, and in fact, I've got his medic's bag here. And he was laying dead on top of the guy he was trying to save, and that guy was dead too. So I took his bag and his hat, and it's all war. Souvenirs tend to change their meaning through time. What we don't understand is what the human cost is. How many lives more have to be lost in Ukraine? It's not even a legitimate government we're fighting for. It was basically couped in. We've overthrown so many, America's for peace and the strength and the glory of the world. BS. We've gone all over the world. And I'd stand here and bore you to death with it and die of hyperventilation, trying to name all the places, just since I've been alive, that we've gone and overthrown governments, installed corrupt governments, backed murderous governments. And it's unreal. We're not such a good country. We have the potential to be a great country. This thing over there, it's not going to end unless there's a negotiation. World War II ended with negotiations. World War I, every war ends with negotiations. Old men argue with each other, they send the kids off to die, then they sit back at the table, they argue some more and end the war. How long does this have to go on? At what price? And look at America. Go on YouTube, look at the videos. Homelessness. Look at the ones in Oakland, San Francisco, Seattle, New York, Philadelphia. I mean, my God. Some people don't even have a piece of cardboard to sleep on. People that have a tent and they have a few things that they've saved, maybe their family photos and a few keepsakes. And what happens? They come through with bucket loaders, they scoop it all up and take it to the dump, tell the people, get off the street. And we got, housing vacancies, vacant places all over the place. We're not giving military bases that have been, kind of shut down. We're not putting these people anywhere. We're not giving them job training. Anybody ever hear of the Work Progress Program? They took thousands and thousands of people in the Depression. They put them to work, building state parks, building and creating art, doing, fixing roads, all sorts of stuff. They got people working, they got them moving, and they got us out of the Depression in the end. What are we doing now? We doing anything for the homeless? How about the people coming across the border? They separate them from their kids, and they don't even bother to have an accounting system to keep track of where the kids are. So now you got a whole lot of kids out there. They're probably never going to see their parents again. God bless America. We don't have our act together at all. And the war in Ukraine is just another symptom of it. And where's all this money going to? We gave billions to Ukraine. Well, Ukraine spent it, and they bought more airplanes, guns, bombs from us. So we didn't really send it. We just diverted it to the major war manufacturers. So at some point, people got to see this big picture, and they got to shut down the whole system. It's just not right. We're better than that. We have enough resources. We're a rich country, and we don't need to go to war to take stuff away from other people.
Thank you, Dave. I learned as a social worker who worked at the VA hospital to say thank you for your service. And so it means a lot, maybe not to a veteran for peace who went through Vietnam, but to our service men and women now, thank you for your service. We're not here, we're not against you, although some of us have some issues there. In a few minutes, it appears that, as you know, the senator's not here, and we appreciate your presence. We've demanded that the senator pressure Biden today, make a public statement. There are others of us in Washington, D.C., and we haven't heard anything, so we're going to go to Cherry Street in a few minutes, and we have one more speaker, a brief comment. When we're going to sit down in the street, those of us who are willing, and we will show our resistance to this war. And all these stupid wars. Go ahead. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Maria Schuman from Greensboro, Vermont. I just wanted to make a really quick comment, which is that this war has been sold to us so hard. And we were told that this war was to stand up for democracy, and yet Zelensky has canceled elections, has banned opposition parties, and has shut down alternative media and imprisoned war resistors. We have been told over and over again that this war was not about NATO. It was only about Russian aggression. But yet now, Jens Stoltenberg, the head of NATO, has said this war is about NATO, and we provoked Russia. Jens Stoltenberg, the head of NATO, said this. You can look it up. We have been sold a bill of lies to believe that war is always the answer, and we have to resist that and fight for peace. Thank you.
I think we should, the sun is blaring down, and some of us have planned to block Cherry Street, and we're going to go block Cherry Street. Our message is that this is very serious, and serious enough to really make a little resistance. And it's, I would say we're brave because this is a complicated war. But so is the war in Yemen. That's a complicated war. And so is a number of other wars. So is our troops who are economically, they get health care from being in the military. We have 800 bases around the world. We have 10 times as many bases easily than China and Russia. So we need to resist this. So we're going to march in a few minutes after we collect ourselves down to the street, and those who are willing to sit with us in the street, you're welcome to do that. If not, please support us. And we'd enjoyed today. It's hot out here. So I guess that's it for our press conference. Yes, Nancy, you want to say something? Go ahead. Here's Nancy.
My name is Nancy Rice from Randolph Center. And I just want to say something about the nuclear weapons, which Russia and the U.S. have, around 5,000 each. And it's been a long time since the Cuban Missile Strike crisis. But I was in college at that time. It was on a Friday. I had 3-hour exams on Monday. I didn't know whether I should bother studying for them or not. But years later, I found out that there was a Russian submarine commander named Vasily Arkhipov, who essentially saved us for these last 60-some years. He refused to send out a nuclear-tipped torpedo, and that was a big part of helping end the missile crisis. We didn't find out about that till years later, but he was a brave man, and I thank him for my last 60 years. Thank you.
Let Dave Ransom say a couple words.
Okay. We'll make it brief because we're about headed down.
Anybody too hot? I was. Louise is sitting down. But thank you all for doing this. It's one of those steps forward that does help us realize we also have another foot. One of the things that has always been with me through my life for some reason is that there's another way. And what we've seen in newsletters or newspapers that are honest today is, you know what? There's something else to say. And I totally sympathize with the woman that met me, and she said here, she's standing for Ukraine, and she said, I'm from Ukraine. Can you put yourself in those feet? And we have a daughter-in-law who had a wonderful time visiting Moscow. Can you put yourself in that seat? Well, when I was a kid during the Second World War, my brother used to get really teed off with this little brat. And on one occasion, when my two cousins weren't there living with us to defend me, he started to choke me. Well, we have a neighbor who was like that lady in Ukraine, a very big, large woman, very friendly, always had candies at Halloween. And she yelled over and said, David and Dick, what are you doing? Well, my brother stopped. One person's voice. One person's voice. As leaders, we get into a mindset that we can't take anymore. And I agree. Every leader needs a good vacation. Whenever that leader says, help, I need to get out of here. Peace is not easy, and it is our task from the day we are born. But it takes some of us a long time, and some never, to realize it. We get leaders, yes, and now we have concerned leaders, we have upset leaders, we have elephants, we have tigers, we have ferocious responses. And you and I are taught to look out. If you walk off the curb, a bus might be coming. So fear is not bad. But what we are in is a world that
loves to magnify fear. Notice Armistice Day, will you? What was done to Armistice Day? Did we gain from meetings through the years? What was done with Mother's Day? Have you looked into that? What was done with Mother's Day? Mother's Day, where are the mothers of this world? Why are you not all protesting in Washington, D.C. right now, asking for one of the grandest mothers in the world to be honored again, and consequently take a step toward peace?
Dave.
This is what the AFSC is doing. The Defense Committee on
And so the police have been called.
Right.
Who else is here? Are you with us?
No, Rich is not.
Okay.
You're
Dave, can you come this way?
It's not a dead-on requirement that we get arrested, but we can sit for a while, right?
No, you can certainly, you don't have to be arrested. Yes. No, I do. No, I feel committed to do that.
What's your record, sir? How many?
Bud? Am I embarrassing you by asking if you're here? Bud? Where's Bud?
Where's Bud?
Maybe he's already headed. Maybe he's sitting in the street.
No. Maybe
Robin?
he went to the restaurant.
We're going to march to the street.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. Let me get out of the chair.
Are you going, Robin? You want to yeah, I'm not.
Jamie.
Okay, I'm going that way.
See that chair up there? Green one?
I hope so.
Nancy, I want to find out where you got that shirt.
Okay, so I'm going in that direction. So.
She just Stella just started some fundraiser, right?
We're going to go now.
Did you just get a
We're going to start walking to the street, people.
Okay. All right. Hi. I talked to a few. I took Digger.
We are.
So I think Jerome is moving to a car. Okay.
Not if we plead not guilty of possible harm. That's all I know about that. She's there to help us.
Yeah, and pedestrians.
Maybe this will happen.
So if you, I don't know if you want to take somebody to church. Oh, no. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
We're following you.
Okay, so we'll stop here. Stop here. Yeah. Oh, good. So why don't you go ahead and stop traffic down there and with your
Where exactly are we stopping?
this side of the there's an entrance to the parking lot there. Where people can leave.
Where it says open. Okay.
This end will stop, and when one of you will come back. I think the police will be here too. We assume we called. Thank you.
He's off there.
Let this one go.
So we called the police. They know we're here. I think they'll come soon. Before you go, Dave, hold on. Those of us who are going to sit down in the street, I myself will stop the traffic and we'll take both lanes. And coming from the other way, we're hoping to divert traffic in a circle there so people are not held up on that end. But we weren't able to do that here. So there's very little traffic. I think the police will end up straightening it all out. So thanks for being here. And they put up the tape, so it looks like we've got them. So let's join each other in the street. See you down there. Our support people.
No, why didn't I have a chair?
So let's just set up. Why don't we set up? Can you put that chair over, in the other lane? And then people who sit in the chairs can hold the nuclear weapons is illegal banner.
I think that went with Robin.
We'll sit.
Ow! Well, I'm not going to do it. I don't even have it anymore.
I don't know.
Well, I'm not really big. I don't mind being part of it.
You want to hold this no more banner?
I can hold it.
Take two. Well, take two. Go ahead.
What? Anyone who wants to join us, you don't have to be arrested, but you're welcome to stand with us or observe. We're here to press the Biden administration to make a phone call and end this war with negotiations. That's how all wars end.
So strange how a lot of old people with too much money get together and decide we got to have a war because we don't have enough. And then they send all of us young people to fight, and we get killed, slaughtered. Believe me, dying is worse. It's not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is you can end up on what they call the backwards of the Veterans Administration hospital. No arms, no legs, can't hear, can't talk. People come and roll you over and roll you over again. You don't get bed sores.
Robin.
And, then finally,
We'll
when
hold it
everybody's
between us
had
here.
enough, all these old guys get together and they have another couple of talks and then they end the war. Why don't they just end the war from the start? Well, it's good. Across the board, we're not taking care of them. In fact, they're losing their children. Children are never going to see their parents again because nobody can keep the paperwork. It's ridiculous. Just end it. End it.
The banner we're holding up is accurate. 2 years ago in the United Nations, a treaty to ban nuclear weapons went into effect. Many countries, 140 countries have signed the treaty and are signatories and sponsors, legally required to not have nuclear weapons. The only countries that have not signed the treaty are the major nuclear weapons countries, because they tell us that's how problems are resolved. Well, they can get anything they want that way. And we know that that's not right. But we also know that we have the law on our side now, due to the good work of people who have fought nuclear weapons for many years. Does someone want to hand out some leaflets to the cars that are waiting? We have some. We're doing it on the other end. Watch yourself, Chris.
It's illegal to obstruct traffic.
Hey, Dave. Put your arm a little further.
Why didn't they join NATO? Why didn't Ukraine join NATO? You got any answer for that? Why didn't they join NATO? Why didn't the Ukraine join NATO?
Why should they?
Why should they?
Yeah.
So they can get our help. They can support them if they join NATO. They can pay into NATO and we can help them. Why do we gotta help the bums for free? Why is Burlington about that?
Well, that's an interesting point.
This is an interesting point. Can you answer my question? No?
I don't know the answer.
Get in the way?
I don't know.
Cause problems? I don't know you.
You're welcome to speak.
I am welcome to speak. That's why I'm talking. I'm asking you if you're going to talk. Why didn't they join NATO? You know?
No, because they don't want
U.S.
to
proxy
destroy.
war in Ukraine. It's a proxy war.
What do you mean by that? Explain that to me.
Look it up.
No, I'm asking you. You're the one protesting. Yeah, right. But you know why Russia started this war with that?
Because NATO is encircling Russia.
Right. Also, because they're attacking their political figures in Ukraine.
How would you like to have Russia having nuclear weapons in Mexico and Canada? You would not approve of that.
It doesn't matter. It's not my fight. What's the point of
Civil disobedience.
Like in front of City Hall? No? You want to do it in front of City Hall? You have to do it here. Not much, but you are getting paid to be here.
Oh, of course not. Why would we do that? It's a moral.
It's a moral thing, but you said not much. That implies you are being paid.
I'm tired of it. Great.
Boy, was he angry.
I know. Well, we
Tapped on the window. I said,
don't touch my car. I know. You see how we walked the window down? That's halfway down. It's too far away.
Yeah. Like work before. Yeah, because I gotta pay that guy's SSI with my taxes. I gotta pay his SSI with my taxes, so maybe you should let me go to work. You know, someone's gotta pay for him to sit there. Apparently that's me, but it won't be me if I don't go to work.
Let him do it.
I know. You couldn't have told the buses though.
So now I walk. Thank you for making me want to tell them to pay for their Uber. They don't have the app. As long as it's not going too many places. Maybe they should move it down more. We should just a target. They should see back here. We did contact them earlier today. A little help. I think if we were younger. That's what their job is to reroute traffic. Or move us. They threaten us with arrest. I agree. I totally agree. But we let one thing through without any more.
I guess our moral powers
Everything is gone. I see that. Good. Henry was supposed to get a report from Code Pink, and I'll ask him. What? My son is going to get a report from Code Pink about what happened in Washington.
So one of the times I got arrested in Washington, somehow I ended up in a session with all 8 ladies. I walked all the way to the back. Hey, what's your name, Dave? Well, I'm Dave. Yes, I'm the boss. And in the back, and one down in the section. The green and other green. It was a confined space. Boss of beautiful women. No men to get in your way. I said, yes, I did have something. But it might be
Sure. I'm not a very good public speaker. Let's see if I have any ideas. Martha, I think this is you're going to ask me some questions. And I'm wondering if you can ask me some questions, but also speak with Martha. How's your arm, Dave? My name is Duncan Nichols. I'm a licensed social worker in Vermont. It's spelled Duncan Nichols, D-U-N-C-A-N, N-I-C-H-O-L-S.
They've already done that.
Okay. We're here to raise awareness about the fact that diplomacy has not been used. In fact, diplomacy has been blocked by our government. Our government has consistently chosen violence over diplomacy, as we see Russia is doing. Although both countries have led up to this, have created this war, the Ukrainians in the So we're here to bring a different perspective, and hopefully the moderators will look at the facts and see the sources and get it. Really, the work in the next few weeks will be to write letters to the editor, press releases, have other gatherings like this. Today, we're here just simply to make the statement that we would like our senator in Vermont to call Joe Biden, who he says is his friend, and I'm sure he has a way to get through to Mr. Biden, President Biden, and say that we, people in his state, are calling for diplomacy and not any more of these weapons. While we don't have health care, there are 30,000 people in Vermont who don't have health care, or they have minimal health care. Why would it would be such a small thing to fix that with the money that's going to Ukraine? So, yeah.
And so those are really my questions, but
Martha. Can I put Martha on the chair?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hi, so nice to meet you.
Aikido technique. You know, yeah.
I'll take the other chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Where are you going? Switch sides with you? No.
So, if you're ready. Okay. So the first question I'm just going to ask if you could say and spell out your name.
I like dropping.
My name is Martha Hennessy, Hennessy. And in your own words, how would you describe the event here today?
We're petitioning our government, our grievance about this current war.
Yes.
Continues on unabated.
Well, we can't get around.
There are 500,000 people who have died. So we really would like the killing to stop. And the country of Ukraine is being destroyed, its infrastructure. I mean, war nowadays does target the civilian infrastructure. This is what we did in Iraq and Libya. They still have not yet recovered. So I'm really hoping that Bernie can meet with Joe Biden, our second Catholic president in our U.S. history. I'm really hoping that the two of them can be honest about who's starting this war, who's profiting from this war, and negotiating an armistice is really in the best interest of the whole globe. You know, the cost of living is increasing, inflation is increasing, famine is increasing. All of this is related to this current war that was trotted out for, you know, we walked out of Afghanistan after 20 years of making war on that country. And then within 6 months, we trot out this new war. So I'm very concerned that it can lead to nuclear annihilation of all of us.
And so, you know, regardless of whatever happens at the end of the event, what are you hoping that this, what kind of impression are you hoping that this leaves not only on the Burlington community, but also for political leaders and, you know, people across the country?
That people can gain more courage to stand up and speak out about this current war. The government, the military-industrial complex has been very efficient in selling this war and convincing people Putin is evil and we must fight this war. But there's a whole lot more to this history. NATO has been encircling Russia for some time now, and we want the Cold War to stop.
Yeah.
And so those were really the main questions I had. Was there anything you wanted to add that I didn't?
Well, can I give you a quote written by Dorothy Day in 1940 when the Second World War was being initiated? Here's the quote. Instead of gearing ourselves in this country for a gigantic production of death-dealing bombers and men trained to kill, we should be producing food, medical supplies, ambulances, doctors, and nurses for the works of mercy to heal and rebuild a shattered world.
Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Go over that direction.
Yes.
No, of course not. I just wanted to I'm very good friends.
Oh, yes.
Many.
So Martha might hold that other end. Martha, can you hold? She needs to. Yeah.
There's a nice breeze coming from those.
Good. Take a seat, babe.
She wants to meet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cardio Ben.
So, why is football
Crystal.
why instead of people being spread on the street?
Thank you, all of you, for what you do.
There's a tradition of doing that in the world, of letting your position be seen as a leader. So, that causes it. That causes it to back up. It's not a high traffic.
some of these people that are being
No permit? No permit for this? No permit? All right.
Hi.
Hi. Permit? No permit?
We have a permit to march. You see some rocking chairs sitting up there in front of Bernie Sanders' office? If you do, they have the permit. Yeah.
I gave him a flyer earlier.
You think when people started
Sitting in the street, that permit?
Watch the video last night.
Here's the count.
Jerome. Not with the big council. So they're staying overnight. Robin. You'll watch it. Jerome said.
Well, you write the prompt, and when you write the prompt, you can edit it, revise it, change it, and it'll continue to give you free. And I selected the best one. And it's also new to Photoshop in the last month. Was in the beta for a long time. It's called generative AI. Now it's part of
Yeah.
Earbuds, right?
Harry Yoken. Henry said he called and texted DC and no answer. Is that a good or a bad thing?
All right. Well, we'll find out what's happening
Gathering time,
later, I
right?
guess.
I wonder where Robin went. Maybe it's time for concerned citizens to call and complain about these rowdy people.
Do you want to be the concerned citizen? Oh, I see Robin. She's right there.
Oh.
Is that the food? The farmer's house.
You'd think when people started coming up the street, they saw people sitting in the middle, they think something was wrong.
Right? But no, that's too much to think.
Yeah. I'm waiting for somebody to hit somebody's car.
I know,
What's doing, Jerome? Those people drive worse than they think.
Robin was just saying there's no sign here that says no war in Ukraine.
Well,
got one right there. It says no war. I like that sign.
I think no war in general is a really good plan.
Yes.
Comprehensive no war. It's now normalized.
And the cops wanted the license plate
Was he
number and
right?
everything. Yeah, he was trying to.
I'm sorry.
He was with the young woman and young man in the front seat.
Yeah.
He was in the back. And he was trying to talk the young woman into letting him get behind the wheel to come lower you guys down.
I think they were going to high school. He definitely was a college kid. I think he was probably like a senior. He's like, I
The
gotta
bus
get
is
to
coming
school.
through. I'm just wondering how long you guys are gonna sit here because I have to day tour them.
We're waiting to get arrested.
They're not gonna arrest you.
What?
They're gonna arrest you?
Yeah, we're blocking us. We're blocking the street. They should have been here a long time ago. And we'd be happy to come and just get this.
I'm just wondering because of the buses they're running through, so I have to
We
make
don't know
detour.
when we're going to be out of here. Maybe the police are just waiting for us and just go. You might want to call the police up and find out what's going on.
Okay.
Both of our crosses.
Thank you.
I don't want to sit out here and burn all day.
I know. Thanks.
I figured it's theater, so you got to kind of
There you go.
with some kind of flow.
So it was right
Tell
about
me
where that Jill. Yeah.
Yeah, at long last, I can connect. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, and CBS.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be in disguise. I'm just trying to protect my eyes and my face from the sun. But yeah, it's right there where those cars are turning around. Hi.
I'm glad that
Yeah, you're right. The military is the biggest.
No, I called, texted, and emailed.
Duncan.
Yeah, Noelia.
Noelia? Hi, Noelia.
We came from Plainfield.
Oh, good.
I've been a peace activist my whole life.
Yeah, me too. Good.
Yeah, we moved to Vermont 7 years ago. I was waiting for something like this to be organized.
Do you have Spanish roots or South American? Cuba, thank you.
I was born in Cuba, but I've been here since 1961.
Okay. And your family came over then?
They brought me, but I don't agree with their politics.
Oh, yeah. Do they live down in Miami area?
My sister, my parents have passed away.
I know there's a Cuban community in Chicago and a lot of places.
Right, yeah, we were in Miami, but then later I went away to college.
And then you backed up.
We've been to Cuba a few times, me and my son.
Enjoyed it a lot.
Saw how it works.
You're welcome. My pleasure. See you next time. Thank you.
Henry's going to get me a soda. Dave, do you want something to eat or drink?
Selfish for him being at work 3 times too. Yeah, that's define selfish. That's define
We
selfish.
haven't really discussed it much.
That's not
Paul
selfish.
Simon
That's
saying, discuss it. You think because most of us are older, we think we don't have Zoom meetings?
enough, Mr. President.